Hello, good afternoon. Am I audible to everyone? Okay. My name is Nandini. So today and tomorrow I will be discussing with you about data science. Okay. So at the end of my session, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So I want to know, am I audible when my screen is visible? I'll just share one screen. I want to know if my screen is visible. Okay. So you are able to see my screen, and am I audible? I am just sharing my one screen. So I want to know if my screen is visible and am I audible? Okay, let me start. So first, what is data science? So 1 minute, I'll share my screen and let me start. So today and tomorrow I'll be discussing with you about data analysis and data science. So basically, what is data science? Can you tell me? Can anybody tell me what is data science? So everything today, a large number of transactions are occurring around us. Everything has become online. So one big task is that we need to maintain the data. So we have to collect the data and we need to maintain them. Okay. So this is what is called as data science. So we have to analyze the data and we have to maintain them. Okay. So let me tell you what are all the terminologies you require here. So what is data science? So in today's world, a lot of data is being generated. For example, in hospitals, supermarkets, everywhere many data is generated. So one big task is that we need to collect the data, we need to maintain them, and we have to make prediction. So predictive analytics. So data science is studying data and making predictions. We have to find patterns in the data and then we have to make predictions. So for this, mainly what are all the terminologies we require? We should know what is a data set. So what is a data set? As the name implies, it is nothing but a set of data examples. Okay, it is a collection of data. They contain features important to solving the problem. Okay, they contain essential features important to solving the problem. Okay. So what are all the features? So important pieces of data that help us understand a problem. So for example, when we want to predict any disease, today with lifestyle modifications, many diseases are occurring. Okay, for example, heart disease is very common. So if we want to make any disease, if we want to predict any disease, so first we need to collect the data. So in the data set, so we are collecting the data. So they contain the essential features in solving the problem. Then what are all the features? They are nothing but important pieces of data that help us understand a problem. So what are all the essential features? They help us in understand the problem. They are fit to the machine learning model to help it learn. Okay. Then what is a model? It is the internal representation. So using that, a machine learning algorithm can learn and make predictions. So these are all the important terminologies. So what are all the important terminologies? A data set, feature, and then model. Okay. So what is a data set? So they are the collection of data. So many researchers, they have already made research and they have published their data, their results. They are collected, they are given in the form of data. Okay. So what are all features? So they contain essential information, essential pieces of data in solving a problem. Okay. So they help us understand a problem. So for any kind of data analytics or data science problem, so only when we have good quality data, they can be fit to the machine learning model and it helps in making predictions. Okay. The machine learning algorithm. So various algorithms are there like SVM, support vector machine, and naive Bayes and random forest. Using that, it will learn. Only when correct data is given, the model will learn, and based on that, it will make predictions. So these are all the important terminologies. So where and all machine learning, so it is applied. So it has got its applications in movie recommendations. Today, many online websites have increased, movie sites have increased in YouTube and in Netflix, Popcorn Times. So many people, they want to watch movies. Okay. So we need to provide movie recommendations. So it is data science is involved here. So based on the browser's history pattern. So for example, some may want to see adventurous movies, while others, they may want to see some other kind of movies. Okay. So based on that, so we have to make predictions. So there data science is involved. So we have to collect the data and it should be given to the model. Based on that, the model will learn. just as how human beings, they learn data from past, they learn from past experience, just as like that we are training the machines to learn and they will make predictions. Okay, movie recommendations. Next I am going to discuss with you about Facebook application. So friends tagging. For example, when you are working in an organization or in some other colleges or something, so whenever people belong to a particular group, so based on that friend suggestions can be given. It is one of the applications of data science. Next, where it is used in PayPal, that is fraud detection. So someone may want to create fake accounts and they may want to steal money, okay, in banking transactions, in insurance domain. So to prevent these frauds, so what are the type of, so in what way they are trying to steal money, okay, we want to predict. Their predictive analytics is used. Then where and all it is used in Amazon, Uber and then FIFA gaming. So these are all the many, in real life, in day-to-day life, these are all the applications of data science, okay. So in VR glasses, so we are just like reality, just to create an environment like reality, they will wear virtual reality VR glasses to get the gaming experience, okay. Then gesture control gaming, so in all these areas, so data science is applied, okay. Then in Uber we have to, so based on that is customers traveling pattern, previous customers pattern, it will be giving you the starting location and ending location. So it will give the shortest route possible from one location to the other location, okay. So these are all some of the applications of data science, okay. So next I will be discussing with you about what is supervised learning, unsupervised learning and reinforcement learning. So what is supervised learning? So it is nothing but we are training the model by giving some labeled data. For example, so here this is one example of supervised learning. So what we are doing here, so we are giving some known data samples, okay. So known data is given, so it knows that these are apples, okay. It knows that these are apples, it should be the response. So whenever new data comes in, so the model knows, already it knows, oh, I have been trained with this, so it will recognize that it is an apple. So we are giving some labeled data, based on that the model is trained and it will make predictions. So the model is trained in the presence of a supervisor or teacher, that is some labeled data is given and based on that it is going to make predictions, okay. Just as how human beings, for example, whenever I see a photo of a parrot or some other bird, okay, lion or something, so whenever next time I will be able to recognize. Similarly, what I am doing, I am training the model and it will be able to recognize, okay. This is supervised learning. There are two types of supervised learning, that is classification and regression, okay. So as the name suggests, what is classification? When we want to classify an email as a normal mail or a spam email, then it is called as a classification problem. What is a regression problem? So in case of regression, when the predicted output is a continuous variable or in the form of numbers. For example, whenever I want to predict the prices of house prices or some other kind of a thing, so you can see in this the graph is a straight line. You can see here the graph is a straight line, whereas in case of classification, a line is drawn in between and cross marks come above and circles come below. Okay, this is one example of classification and this is one example of regression. So here I am giving a range of inputs, okay. So I am classifying as good or bad, okay. So this is how classification works. Classification learning and then regression learning. So I am giving the input. So in the regression model, whenever I want to predict the house prices, that is, it is the output is a continuous variable, that is number or something, okay, then it is called as a regression problem. So these are all the two types of supervised learning. Next I am going to discuss with you about unsupervised learning. So you are clear with supervised learning? Okay. Next I am going to discuss with you about unsupervised learning. So what is unsupervised learning? In this case, there is no supervisor or teacher, okay. The data points are given and based on that the model learns by itself. It finds patterns out of the raw data. It is grouped into clusters and then it makes predictions, okay. So here only unlabeled data is given. So based on the unlabeled data, it takes in the data, okay. The data is grouped, the data points are taken, it is grouped on the form of clusters and then it makes predictions, okay. So what is unsupervised? It contains unlabeled data. It doesn't contain any labeled data. So unlabeled data is given and based on that the model is trained and it makes predictions, okay. So this is how it works. For example, a cluster of different shapes are available. You can see here a group of circles, triangles, squares, all these shapes are given. So it is unlabeled. So it takes all the data points, it is given to the model. So the model thinks by itself and it groups circles into one group, squares into another group and triangle into another group. Okay. So we are giving some unlabeled data and based on that it is making predictions. So what are the two types of unsupervised learning? Clustering and then association. Okay. So what is clustering? So we are taking the original data and then grouped in the form of different clusters. So orange cross, it is grouped into one clusters. Green cross marks, it is grouped into next clusters, and blue it is grouped into next cluster. So we are taking the original data and using clustering learning, it is grouped into different clusters. So this is clustering and then association. So what is association? For example, customer 1, if he wants to buy some 4 products, that is bread, milk, fruits and then wheat. Customer 2, he needs to buy bread, milk, rice and then butter. So if a new customer comes, so if he buys bread, then based on the previous 2 customers, he is likely to buy milk as well, purchase milk as well. So you are clear with this, we are associating how based on the previous customer's experience. Okay, so if he buys bread, then he is likely to buy milk as well. Okay, so whenever new customer comes, so he is likely to purchase milk as well. Okay, this is unsupervised learning. So what are the two types of unsupervised learning? Clustering and then association. Next I am going to discuss with you about reinforcement learning. So what is reinforcement? It is based on hit and trial method. Okay, so we are going to train the model or play the game over and over again. So whenever the model predicts correctly, so it will be getting rewards. Okay, if the model does not predict correctly, then no rewards will be given to the model. This is one example of reinforcement learning. Okay, then what is the process? How the data analytics is taken place? So in any data science development, so these are all the 5 major steps. So what are all the major steps involved here? Data collection, data preparation, model fitting, model evaluation and then hyperparameter tuning. So what we are doing here, these are all the 5 major steps involved. Okay, so in any machine learning, that is data science development or data analytics development, these are all the 5 major steps involved. So what are all the steps involved here? First we need to collect the data. In the data collection phase, that is the data sets are collected. For example, as I have told you, whenever we want to predict any disease, so already some people have researched and they have published their result. So in the first phase, so we need to collect the data. Okay. Similarly, whenever I want to make any other kind of, for example, I want to predict the stock prices. Okay. So first we need to collect the data and then data preparation. So we need to prepare the data. Okay. So pre-processing, that is we need to remove the null values and clean up the data. We need to prepare the data, so it occurs in data preparation, and then model fitting. We need to fit the model. Okay, train the model by the clean data. Okay, using fit function. And then what we are doing, so after the model makes predictions, so model evaluation. Okay, so we need to evaluate how the model has performed by calculating the accuracy score and showing in the form of confusion matrix. Then finally hyperparameter tuning. So we need to tune what are all the parameters essential for training the model so that the predictions will be good. So these are all the 5 major steps involved in any data analytics or data science project. Okay. So whenever we are going to do any data science or data analytics project, we have to consider these 5 steps. So what are all the steps involved here? First one is data collection. We need to collect the data. Only when the quality of data is good, the model will be trained correctly and the predictions will be more accurate. Okay. Next one is data preparation. Okay. So in this stage, we need to clean the data and pre-process and remove the null values. Next one is model fitting. Okay. We need to fit the model by using the fit function, model evaluation and then hyperparameter tuning. Okay. So these are all the various steps involved in the process. Okay. So next I am going to discuss with you, just a minute, 1 minute, I am sorry, 1 minute, I am sorry. My system is hanging actually, so 1 minute. Okay, so these are all the various things involved. Then I am going to discuss with you about what are all the libraries required. So what are all the Python libraries required here? We require, 1 minute, pandas. So these are all the major libraries which are very essential for any data analytics or data science development. So one should be aware of pandas. What is the use of pandas? Whenever I want to do any data manipulation task, I should go for pandas. Okay. So NumPy stands for numerical Python. So whenever I want to do any mathematical operations, I should go for NumPy. Okay. So Matplotlib and Seaborn, it is used for data visualization. So for analyzing the data, we should visualize the data. So only then the analysis will be proper. So for plotting various heat maps and graphs, we go for Matplotlib and Seaborn. And Sklearn, so whenever I want to predict the accuracy score and show the confusion matrix, I go for Sklearn. Okay. First I am going to discuss with you about pandas library. Okay. Just a minute. 1 minute.